Have you ever stopped to wonder, what would happen if Princess Luna didn't watch over us in our dreams? We know that dreams aren't really real. Dreams are just a succession of images that occur involuntarily in the mind during the REM cycle of the sleeping stage. There have been a few studies done on the psychology behind dreams, but to this day, they are still not fully understood. There have been ponies in the past that have tried to uncover what it really means to dream, and why we do it. Today, they have yet to establish a clear purpose for dreaming, other than simply something for the mind to do while we rest. Is it simply because our minds are incapable of stopping and just letting itself run involuntarily autopilot? Or is there something, perhaps more magical, about dreaming? Dream interpretation has been practiced throughout the years by many a pony and zebras. They attempt to draw more meaning into our dreams. Interpreters were very useful during our time without Princess Luna. They helped us whenever we had really strong dreams, or they fell off. But now with the return of the princess, I feel like the magic within our dreams has been restored to something more powerful than it was before. If you've read my previous study on the magic of dreams, you already know that I have theorized and provided evidence in favor of the theory that dreams contain many magical components within them, many of which are hard to comprehend, and will require further study to fully understand what they are capable of. So, if we carry that knowledge over to this study and ask the question, what is actually happening to us in the dream world? And what would happen if we're left to our own devices within the chasm of darkness? Would there be any real consequences to our mind and physical body? Or is it nothing more than subconscious images reflecting our worries inside our hearts? There is a much deeper meaning to what I am asking. The following is the experiment that was conducted on the 27th moon of fall in the Castle of Friendship in Ponyville. The subject undergoing the procedure was myself, Princess Twilight Sparkle. Conducting the experiment was also me. My trusty assistant Spike ran the data and documented the experiment as it occurred. As for my failsafe/overseer, Princess Luna, the guardian of dreams was there to ensure my safety. At 20 hours, we began the setup. Spike assisted in attaching me to a heart monitor and neural transmitter. I looked over my dictaphone and took a few more spare notes. We ran a test to ensure that the equipment was in working order. Test successful. Everything seemed to be in order. 20:45 hours. Princess Luna allows the start of the experiment. From this point on, the information gathered is based on what Spike documented in the log during the time of the event, as well as my personal experience. I must inform the audience that Spike was informed to write the log any way he wished. His job was to document the events as he witnessed. As long as that was accomplished, it shall not affect the end result of the experiment. Testing, testing. Princess Twilight Sparkle, present and accounted for. Spike, say your name.
Spike here!
Princess?
We are present.
Okay, excellent. Today is the 27th moon of fall. As I've documented in my notes, we will be conducting the first experiment of absence of dream magic. This information shall prove useful for our investigation. Time is now 20:46 hours. We will begin in 15 minutes. Recording of data will continue throughout the process.
Twilight Sparkle, we are concerned over this.
With all due respect, Princess, we need to know this information not just for you, but all of Equestria. They need to understand what we are dealing with here.
They know well enough. They need not worry about these things. That's what I'm here for.
Yes, but Princess, you won't always be here. It's been evident in the past that anything is possible.
Twilight, we are able to handle ourselves.
But what about all those times you've been kidnapped? How about when Tyrek stole your power?
There are some laws of magic that cannot be worked around. You know this, young Sparkle. Even we are unable to break the unruly laws of nature.
Well, then there's even more reason to go through with this. What if someone stole your magic and prevented you from going into another one's dreams and the whole world is left without you to protect them from themselves? All those dreams and nightmares left to run about and do as they please. Fear running rampant through the streets. Ponies drove to complete madness. A never-ending hell.
Young princess, you cannot let the fear of the future control you.
So you admit it could happen?
I'm simply stating that you can imagine many possible outcomes of the future and stress to no end over it. But have you not learned that it is no use worrying over what may come?
You're right. I know you're right. But we have to do this.
Twilight.
You already agreed, so there's no point in going back now. You'll make sure everything runs smoothly and I don't get hurt.
I cannot control everything, Twilight. Especially if you keep insisting that I draw back my power.
I'll be careful. I promise.
Experiment log. Spike here. I don't really know how to write an experiment log, but I'll do the best I can. Alright, so it's about 9 o'clock and the subject finally went to sleep. Princess Luna is present, so I believe that helped her. I'm not allowed to go near her the whole experiment unless necessary. Neither is the princess, so we won't mess up the results. But Princess Luna's still keeping an ear out for her dreams, just in case it gets too dangerous. Twilight said I didn't have to write everything down, just the important stuff. So I'll check in again in an hour. Side note, Twilight tends to snore. I relate to the experiment, just thought I'd mention it. 10 o'clock. Twilight is sleeping pretty good. Heart rate's normal, neural scan's normal. Nothing out of the ordinary. Princess Luna hasn't sensed anything, so she's reading a book. And I, Spike, am reading a comic book. 11 o'clock. Vitals are still normal. Subject. Twilight has moved around a bit, but it appears her dreams may still be harmless. Princess Luna still hasn't heard anything. Spike, have finished my comic. So, I'm gonna look for another book. 12 o'clock. Vitals look good. Subject Sparkle is doing well. I'm getting really tired. Princess Luna's, is drinking coffee. I don't like coffee. Subject Sparkle jerked her leg at about 12:36, but her vitals were going smoothly. 1 o'clock. Vitals? Normal. The subject is fine. Princess is awake.
2 o'clock. The young dragon has fallen asleep. I have taken upon myself to fill in the slot for this hour. Subject Sparkle is still sleeping well. I'm quite surprised. Vitals are all normal, and her mind seems to be calm. 3 o'clock. Something is happening. Heart rate is rising. Her neuroscan is showing some more activity. 3:15. Her heart rate has risen significantly. The neuroscan seems to be showing something, but I don't understand what it means. 3:30. Everything is happening very quickly. It's hard to keep up with the data myself. She is thrashing in her sleep. I can feel her dreams start to call to me. I must resist. 3:45. I've taken upon myself to remove the young dragon from the room. He need not witness what is happening here. Her heart rate won't stop beating so furiously. 4 o'clock. She's quieted down, but she still hasn't awoken. Quite strange. 4:30. I'm removing the subject from the dream. I cannot allow this to continue. 5 o'clock. It's extraordinarily difficult to pull her out. Heart rate high, neuroscan undeterminable. I cannot imagine how damaged she'll be after this. The experiment has been terminated. Log end.
Subject Twilight Sparkle's statement. It's 9 p.m. About one day after the experiment. I was too out of sorts to record anything at that time after the experiment. So, we had to delay this statement. Current status is not good. My heart quickens at every sound. I haven't been able to sleep for hours. I'm tired. Exhausted. It's hard to describe what I experienced that night. But I have to journalize this, so I will do my best. The first thing I remember was darkness. It seemed as if I was in a windowless room. It was completely empty. Yet, it still felt familiar in a way, as if I had been there before. I looked around, but I couldn't see anything. I then decided to light my horn. The soft glow helped me see a little better, but the darkness was very strong. I looked for a bit more. Then, I saw something on the ground, a few feet from my hubs. I stepped towards it to see what it was. It turned out to be my doll, Smarty Pants. She was laying down on her stomach, facing away from me. I smiled at her, then proceeded to walk past her. I walked through the dark, trying to find an exit perhaps. I was somewhat aware I was dreaming, so I tried to add a little logic to my brain. If there wasn't a door, maybe I could make one, or I could think my way out of this room. You know, imagination, something else instead of this darkness. I took a few more steps, then I saw something ahead of me. It was really small, so it was hard to tell what it could be. But the closer I walked towards it, the more familiar it felt. There was Smarty Pants again, but this time, she turned a little, facing me more directly. I simply shrugged it off and kept walking. Not 5 steps later, I saw it again. This time, Smarty Pants was looking right at me. It freaked me out a little, so I decided to turn the other way. Yet, from the moment I turned, I walked straight into a wall. I rubbed my nose and was confused, but I was in a room just a second ago, right? I rubbed my magic a little to see if I could brighten it. I soon regretted that. In the far left corner was a dark form, sitting on a small dollhouse. I knew better than to walk towards it, but couldn't find the will to move away either. I kept my eyes on it, curious if it would just come towards me. Dreams do tend to do that, and since I was aware I was dreaming, I was curious if I could stop it if necessary. So, I proceeded to try to persuade my dream to curve in a different direction. Maybe give me a bit of power on my end of the corner, if you will. That wasn't the case, though. I felt the dark form flying inside my body, trying to overtake my being, as if by some involuntary response, began to claw my chest, as if I could pull it out of me. I kept bashing my hoof against my chest, over and over and over again, until I could feel the tip of my hoof piercing my skin. Couldn't stop hitting my own chest. Kept bashing my hoof harder and harder against it until I could feel blood dripping down my hoof. Celestia, it hurt. I've never hurt so terribly in my life. I wanted to stop. I tried to stop. I kept yelling at myself to stop. Blood covered my hooves and chest as I began to cry. The pain overwhelmed me. Finally, I opened my eyes. I was in my room. I could hear Spike snoring. I could hear the machines beeping around me. Princess Luna's voice. Thanks, Celestia. Princess Luna pulled me out before anything more severe happened. Such a relief to be out of that dream. But then I heard something. I glanced over to the side of the room, as well as Luna. I couldn't tell what made the noise. I thought I'd get up to check it out. But for some reason, I couldn't move any part of my body. I tried to lift my legs, but they felt as if iron had been tied to them. I attempted to lift my head up, but I couldn't move it either. I struggled against the state, but it was no use. I was stuck. It was at that moment that I started to see something. Something unpony. Something magical. Something. It looked like some sort of dark force of magic, but the shape was completely irregular. It had no face, yet I could still feel it, staring right into my very soul. It hovered over my body, lowering slowly onto my chest. I felt the pressure of its weight, but I couldn't see it properly. All it was darkness. Then it started to choke me. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. I couldn't defend myself. I was just a lifeless form, trapped in my body. I screamed inside myself, feeling the force build up in my chest, feeling the crushing weight on my chest and throat, the absence of oxygen burning my lungs. I kept trying and trying and trying to fight, but the more I tried, the harder it clutched at my throat. I felt the very life leaving my body, the blood pulsing through my veins, the slight bulge of my eyes. But then I finally woke up. Sweat covered my body, my heart rate was shot, scans were undeterminable. I examined my body to see if any physical damage had happened, but I couldn't find anything, except for some slight bruises around my legs. After regarding the results, as well as my personal experience, this experiment has shown that it's too risky to attempt to dream without magic. There are too many dark forces out there attempting to destroy ponies within themselves. I have shown that much and will not study this any further. This is the last I will speak of it. It's 12:07. Hopefully, I'll sleep a little tonight. Methods. Information will not be disclosed for safety purposes. Do not recreate this experiment.
Dear Sister, I am writing to inform you about my recent arrival to assist your former pupil, now Princess Twilight Sparkle, in her study of sleep magic. Despite my earlier advice against it, her determination prevailed. I arrived yesterday, on the 27th moon, albeit a bit later than anticipated. I trust you've had a chance to review the accompanying documents. If not, you should read them before you continue this letter. Then all I say will make sense. As you can see, I wasn't present during the time the experiment was conducted. I'm currently by the young one's side, attempting to pry her from this deep sleep she's been cursed under. Her dragon assistant is currently absent at the moment, so it may be hours by the time you receive this message. Unfortunately, Twilight Sparkle remains unresponsive. Every night I've tried to reach her dream, but so far I've been unsuccessful. It's extremely frustrating and disheartening. She's right here in front of me, yet I cannot reach her psyche. Please, come as quickly as you can. Your sister, Princess Luna.